Okay, so today, again, listen carefully, please. Today is another formula. I would say this is a little bit harder because you have to remember a formula. All right. Yesterday was kind of logical because we knew that what meant the variable, is means equal, and of means multiply. And if you know that, setting up the equation was very simple. All right. So today I'm going to have to write a formula for you. All right. Then everybody should have out their calculator. All right. And then you will see, might even be a 10-minute lesson today for me. All right. Because it's really just showing you the formula. All right. So oftentimes you'll have two numbers and you want to know what was the rate of change, or what was the percent of increase, or what was the percent of decrease. Everybody with me on that? So if I went, let's say, let me see who's thinking. If I started with $100 and I dropped down to $80, anybody tell me what the percent of decrease was? 20%. Exactly. All right. All right. Now, I'm going to explain to you how you got that if you didn't know. But if you went from 100 to 80, how much did you drop by?
20.
20. How did you figure that out?
Because 100 minus 20 is 80.
100 minus 80 is 20. That's perfect. Now, why was that 20% though?
Because it's out of 100.
Because it's out of 100. Exactly. So if I said to you this, I started with $5, and I now have, bless you, I now have $4. The same rules apply. You take the difference between them. What was the difference between 5 and 4? 1. Now, you always divide it by where you started from. Where did we start from? 5. So what is 1 divided by 5 the same as? 20%. Very good. We already know that. 1/5 is 0.2, and 0.2 is 20%. All right? So again, what I normally tell kids is, it's hard in 6 months to remember this formula. But listen to what I'm saying. If you start at 100 and end at 80, most people can say that's 20%. Everybody with me? So now you're supposed to be able to say in 6 months, if I try 100 to 80, how did I get 20%? It was the difference divided by 100. And 100 is where you start at. All right? Now listen to me. If I start at 80 and I go to 100, is that 20%? The answer is no. Because from 80 to 100 is what? 20. But what was the original this time? 80. So 20 over 80 is actually 25%. So listen to what I'm saying, Connor. Are you hearing me? From 100 to 80 is not the same percentage as from 80 to 100. Now, to me, when I first learned that, I thought that was kind of weird. I thought it should be the same. Do you agree?
Yeah.
But it's not. Because the 80 represents, or the original represents where you're starting from. That's what's changing. Is everybody hearing me? All right, that's why it's not the same. So when I figured out that where you start is what's important, then I understand the formula. All right, is everybody with me? So now, for this worksheet, it's probably, seriously, the easiest thing we're going to do, because it's just a formula. And the formula is the change divided by the original amount. The formula for percent of change, we say, is the change divided by the original amount. Now, what I should see everybody doing is I should see everybody writing down on this worksheet, right? We could say percent of increase or decrease. Percent of increase or decrease is the change divided by the original amount. The percent of increase or decrease is the change divided by the original amount. Is everybody with me on this? All right, so on the first one, I'm going to give you a heads up. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take out your calculator because, seriously, well, I don't think we need it on the first one, do we? No, because it's what? Can you tell me mental math? No, no. Somebody tell me the answer to the first one using mental math. What is it?
33.
No.
Or no, 66.
No. No, no, no. What? Come on now, I said this is mental math, so it must be really easy.
2/3.
Why are you saying 2/3?
Oh.
What?
0.6 repeated.
Why are we doing that? What's the change? You're starting where? 12 and going to 18. What's the change?
6.
Do you know what percentage it is?
Oh, 50.
Why?
Because 6 is half.
Wow. Come on now, guys. That was 50%. If I go from 12 to 18, how much should I increase by? 6. Where was the original amount?
Oh, I did it.
What was the original amount? 12. 6 out of 12. 50%. Come on now. That's not calculator.
That's not hard.
That's not calculator.
That's easy.
All right. So here we go. Listen to what I'm saying now. Here is what's on. Uh-oh. Go.
I don't exactly get how we get 12 to 18 is 50%.
Okay. From 12 to 18 is how much? What's the change?
6.
Out of
12.
which is
1/2.
which is.
50%.
Now you know. You got me right.
Yeah, I understand.
Yep, perfect. So listen, let's talk about it now real quick. All right? So in math, listen to me, we write change like this because we're lazy. Uh-oh. Here you go, watch me. Triangle means what? Change. And change always means what? The difference or what operation? You're not thinking on your own. He says something, you repeat it. What does the change mean? What is it? No, change means subtraction. The change, delta, means change. When you get to science, you'll talk about that a lot also. Delta is the symbol for change. We changed, we went from 12 to 18. So what was the change?
6.
6. All right? So it's the change divided by the original amount. All right? The change divided by the original amount. Now, of course, some say it's the new or the old minus the new, but I don't really go about that. I don't care about that. I want you guys to know it's the change. All right? So now, from my perspective here, the change is what? 6. The original amount is 12. If I were to divide 6 divided by 12, that would give me what? 0.5. However, that's a decimal, not a percent. Does everybody agree with that? So I want everybody to know that 0.5 is the same as what? Is 50%. Is everybody happy with that? Everybody happy with that?
Yep.
Right. Again, very easy, especially because we can use our what? Because we can use our calculator. Now, again, though, listen to me, guys. I'm not interested in just everybody writing down the answer. Everybody know that, right? Now, the only thing I'm going to do different for you today is I am going to let you write the difference down. All right. Now, obviously, other thing, is this an increase or decrease, guys?
Increase.
Increase. Why is it an increase? Because you
from
went from 12 to 18. The next one, is it an increase or a decrease? It's an increase. So again, that's just logic. I don't really care if you write down increase or decrease because you need to know. I can hear all the way from up here. Now, so what is the change here, guys? 3, right? 3 divided by, what's the original? 27. So everybody should do 3 divided by 27, which you guys should all know is 0.1 repeating. right? So let's write 0.1 repeating, which because we are brilliant, I want the exact answer. So that would be, of course, 11 and 1/9%. Shh. 11 and 1/9%.
So you want us to
Now, it says round to the nearest tenth. Do you agree? So if you wrote 11.1%, I'm totally happy. Does everybody agree with that?
Okay.
I'm totally happy. I'm just trying to show, for those of you guys who want to understand numbers better, whenever you see 0.1 repeating, it's the same as what fraction?
1/9.
1/9. So in the future, you're going to be able to tell somebody when a fraction is repeated, it just means it's out of 9.
So 2.
All right.
Is 2.
2 repeating is 2/9. Brilliant. 3 repeating is 3/9. All right. So now, listen, everybody's looking eyes up on the board. That's how I want to see it. All right, your calculator can do the subtraction. All right, but I need you to write it over the original, and then you do the division on your calculator. Is everybody hearing me? All right, so let's do a couple more just to make sure. All right, so I went from 4850 to 3850. Is that an increase or a decrease?
Decrease.
Decrease. Okay, so what was the change, somebody?
$9.76.
9.7. Does anybody agree with that? What was the original amount? 48.5 equals, tell me what a decimal is. Exactly 0.2?
Yeah.
All right, so we'd write 0.2, and then I want you to write equals what? Equals 20%. All right? Now, again, step by step. Julian, you good with that or not?
Oh, no.
How did you get what? What are you missing?
Oh, I was just taking notes on the other problem.
All right, so now we're on number 4. So now just slide over to number 4. Don't write that down. Just go over to number 4. All right? Now, again, what's the change? Hold up, right up front.
From 25 to 12, so you're decreasing
By how much?
by 8.
Do it on your calculator. Just type it in. Don't just say things. 13. What was the original amount?
25.
So, what's 13 divided by 25?
0.52.
So what percent?
So that would be 52%.
Now, do problem 5 right now. And I want 5 done before I do it. All right? Julia, what's number 5? What's the change? No, I didn't ask that. I said, what's the change? What's the original amount? What decimal? Which is what percent? Listen, hey, I want everybody's eyes up on the board right now. Look up. Sebastian, I mean it. Max, I said look up. Colin, you too. That's on your paper right there. Every single time. That's it. I don't want 70%. All right? I want the fraction, I want the decimal, and then I want the percentage. Is everybody hearing me on that?
Yes, sir.
All right? And your calculator can do all the work. All right? But you have to know how to set it up. All right? So Connor, tell me about number 6, buddy. What will be on your paper?
125 over 87.
Over, you meant?
I'm 875.
Perfect. What decimal is that?
0.1428571.
Okay, so now we're going to round that to what percent, buddy? Now remember, here's something that's kind of interesting because it says rounded to the nearest 1/10 of a percent. Now, the 1/10 of a percent, right? So in other words, let me say it like this. So this would be 14.2857, correct? So then it would round to what?
14.3.
Yes, 14.3%. Is everybody hearing me on that? I do care if you put 14.2. I do care if you put 14. Does everybody hear me? I want it 14.3%. Everybody happy with that? All right. All right, so here we go. We're going to try question number 7. All right, Sebastian, I'm going to let you do this one. Go. No, just tell me the fraction.
Oh, so,
4.4.
over
Good. Yes. Don't wait. Get it done. Do it. Stop looking. Shh. Now you're talking. What is it? No. 0.243 what? Okay, that's good enough. So that equals what? Yes, 24.3%. Now, we can disagree. I'm glad. I'm totally glad with you on that. Totally happy. All right, did you get 4.4? So let's just double check your work. That's all, guys. I want you to disagree, and I want you to be wrong, and I want you to ask me a question when you're wrong. That means you're learning something. Not writing things down off the board. It's not helping. Good. Now you got it corrected. See? It's just a calculator. Just you accidentally typed in a number wrong. Julian, tell me. Good.
how did you get 4.4?
Remember, it's always these two subtracted. Always.
Oh.
That's what it means by the change. To find the change, you subtract. All right, sweet Caroline, you're up, girl. Tell me the fraction.
Oh, it's going to be 300 or 3,000.
Uh-oh, this one's a weird one. What does that come out to be? Exactly 94?
Yeah.
So now, what percent is that? I'm going to be impressed if you can tell me. Shh. Take a guess. Don't just concentrate. It doesn't matter. Okay, that's okay. So what is it actually? Yes, 9. Because remember, converting a decimal means you move it to the right 2 places. You with me? So that's just 9400. 9400. Tell me what?
And is that
Come on.
only when you're in like the triple digits?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. In other words, the decimal is always at the end, true? So if it's at the end, I move it 2 spots.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Come on now. Now try to do the next one. Try to beat me to the next one so you know what you're doing. Jesse, good. I'm going to let you give it a shot. Yes, you're up. What? Who said wait? What? Did you do 3008 divided by 32? And you got what? Why are you confused how I got 94? Because you multiply by 100, remember?
Oh.
Hey, do you understand me on that? Right, because look, that's why I'm emphasizing this is what you get. But remember, you're looking for a percent, so you have to move it 2 places to the right. Do you hear me or not? So, on all of these problems right here, do you agree we're doing a percent? So, this decimal, look at question number 6. That's a decimal, not a percent. So how did I convert that to a percent? Yes. So I have to do the same thing with every problem. You with me? You divide, and that converts it to a decimal. But you have to remember, sometimes it doesn't look right. But hey, have you ever? Let me ask you this, guys. There are times when something increases by more than 100%. Do you agree with me on that? Like, you know, I can't. The only example I can think of is like if you are in the stock market or something like that, right? You buy something and then all of a sudden the stock goes way up. It can go up more than 100%. That's what they're talking about here. Okay? All right? So let's take a look now at number 9, Jess. What do I got? Just, yes, tell me the fraction. Good job, girl. It came out to be 0.8. Good. I'm good with that. So then that rounds to what? 80. You move it 2 places.
Oh, so then
82.1%. Now let's double check. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, look right here, Jesse. Look for me for a second. When you round, right, it's 82.1, and then you look at the 4. Remember, if it's 5 or more, it would go up.
Oh, yeah.
You remember that now? All right, so that's just a good review on rounding today. Yes, so let's look at number 10. All right, now again, everybody is supposed to do number 10 before we get the answer. That's what we're supposed to do. You're like racing, trying to stay one ahead of me. And then you look to see if you have the right answer. And by the time we get done with the 20 problems, you'll know exactly how to do the problems. That's what we're doing. All right? So here we go on number 10. Give me the fraction.
So it's 78. So it'd be
78 over 12, which is
6.5.
6.5, which is 650%. True? Come on now. It's a little better. Every problem you're getting a little better. Every single one. You can't stop. What?
You get 650 because you moved the decimal.
How many? Always. And what I'm trying to do is all 10 of those problems have done the same exact way.
Yes.
Do you agree with that? I always divide, move the decimal 2 places to the right. Okay? So now, the percent of error. Do you think there's any difference between percent of increase, decrease, or percent of error? No. It's just a different way of writing. All right? So in other words, if you went 38 miles per hour, but you have an estimated 35, right? You're trying to find the percent of error. Well, which one is correct? The actual or the estimate? The actual. All right? You with me on this? All right? So what I want to do is it's going to be the change. What's the change? 3 divided by the actual. 38.
That's all it is.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just do it. 0.0789.
So we say, what is it?
0.0789.
All right, which is going to be what?
7.8.
No, think for,
Wouldn't it be 8%?
no, because listen, that's not bad thought, but
Oh,
the decimal's over twice. So if we're rounding to the 10th, this would be the 10th spot for the percent, correct? So it'd be 7.9%. All right. I'm listening. Go ahead.
so it's the first 4 digits,
Yes, pretty
and
much.
then and then you move the decimal 2 times. So that's all right.
That's right. Okay. Yes, ma'am. All right, Caroline, what do I have to do? 5. Wait a minute. Now, here you got to be careful because, and again, I want you to divide it by the what? The actual. You hear me? Yeah, they switched it around to try to mess you up. You see that? So it'd be 5 over what? 5 over 50. 5 over 50, which is the same as, let her go. 0.1, which is the same as 10%. Beautiful. Okay, let me see. Abby, I don't think you said anything today. Go ahead. Right? Yes. Repeated. What decimal is, or what percent is that? What? 33.3%, but you could also write 33 1/3%.
Couldn't you write?
All right. 3/9 is the same as 1/3. True?
Oh.
All right. So here we go. Vivian, tell me about 14. Changes 30. Yep. 30 over 230. Okay, so what percent is that? Yes, 13.0%. Sometimes they write 0.0 to show you that they've rounded it. All right, Colin,
All right.
tell me about 15, buddy.
So 15. So 15. The amount that has been changed is 11.
I think it's 9.
Oh, it's,
You're
yeah.
okay. You're okay, buddy.
yeah. I just.
I know it looked like it, so you're okay. 9 over what's
9
one?
over 75.
Exactly. So do that on your calculator. Tell me what decimal.
0.12,
0.12.
which equals 12%.
All right. So again.
I did 75 over 9, my bad.
Change divided by the actual. All right. So listen, does everybody feel pretty comfortable about this? Yeah, okay, so what I need to do now is I need to stop here real quick because I need to call you to my desk. I need to check your homework. I want to make sure I give you the extra credit. All right? Everybody good? All right, now your job, please, quiet, get it done so you don't have homework. Or you can use a calculator. But I'm telling you, tomorrow when I look at your paper, I want the fraction, I want the decimal, and I want the percent. That's what we want.
There's the last one. It's like always.
Everything.